Hi, everybody. Today we're going to talk about eggs. And we're going to do a couple things when we talk about eggs. We're going to start to get into some of those nitty gritties and also talk about cooking them. So you can see I'm adding some butter to a pan here. We're going to let that warm up. Whenever you cook anything on a pan, you want to make sure your pan is nice and hot before it goes in. Otherwise, it just sticks to the pan. So we're going to let our butter get all warmed up, and then I'm going to add my egg. Another thing that we're going to do as we watch our egg cook is we're going to be observant. We are going to watch what happens and what changes happen as we cook our egg. So we're going to start with our egg being completely liquid, right? Everybody kind of knows that an egg is very liquidy, it's very runny. And then when we cook it, it turns solid. But we're going to watch that and we're going to talk about that as we go through today. All right. So as I'm warming this butter up, there's a couple things I'm looking for. I want the butter to stop really sort of bubbling around. I want it to do some bubbling, but then I want that bubbling to slow down a little bit. What's going on right here is I'm boiling off some of the water that's in the butter. And so after that sort of dies down a little bit, I know my pan is really hot, and then I can add my egg. And I think here we go now. All right, so as we watch this, remember, we're starting off with the liquid egg. And in chemistry, we care a lot about changes. So we're going to watch the changes that happen, and we're going to think about those changes too. So here comes the egg. We'll see how good of a job I can do cracking it. And onto the platter, onto the pan it goes. All right, so we have our clear egg, and we see immediately, right at the bottom, we see the bottom start to turn white, right? And not only does it turn white, the whites turn white, not only does that turn white, but it also starts to solidify. And now we see some of the liquid starting to turn into a solid, right? This is kind of backwards for what you would imagine, right? You normally think that when you heat a solid, it turns into a liquid. When you heat a block of ice, it turns into liquid water. But now we're heating our egg, and the egg is going from a liquid to a solid. Okay, and we're starting to see it go from clear to white as well. The other thing we notice is that the whites cook up and the egg yolk doesn't. We'll talk about that later on today too in this video. Okay, so you saw me adding a little salt there for flavor. It's always good to add a little bit of salt to your food. It enhances the flavor so much. Salt is fantastic. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm about ready to flip this egg here. I'm going to flip it and cook it on the other side just real quickly, just to get at some of the yolk. The yolk is somewhat insulated from the pan, right? It's got the egg white below it, sort of preventing the heat from reaching up to it, and so it doesn't get cooked right away. So I'm going to flip this over for just a minute and let that egg yolk cook a little bit just to get it a little solid. But again, right, thinking about what happens here, right? We go from a liquid egg to a solid egg. We see some little brown parts on the bottom of our egg. That's from the Maillard reaction. That's some good flavor going on down there. And it looks like I did a good job. I didn't break my yolk flipping it. We did okay. To make sense of what's going on with our egg as we cook it, we need to think about what is in our egg to begin with. What chemicals are there? What molecules are there that are causing this to happen? So just looking at the composition of an egg, right? We have the egg white, the egg yolk, and the whole egg. All right. So the egg white has lots of protein in it, right? 3.9 grams of protein and 38 total grams of mass. You can see that there's no fat in the egg white. And the egg yolk is where all of the fat is. But the egg yolk also has some proteins in it as well. All right. And that's really what I want to focus on here is I want to think about those proteins. In the whole egg, we have about 6.5 grams of protein, 3.9 grams of protein in the egg white, and 2.7 grams of protein in the egg yolk. Okay, because proteins may be new to some of you out there, I want to take just a minute to talk about what a protein is. Proteins are made up of molecules called amino acids. All right, in this analogy, an amino acid is kind of like a train car, and amino acids link together to form a protein, much like train cars link together to form a whole train. And just like some train cars carry coal, other train cars carry cows, some train cars carry cars, right? There are different amino acids that help to make up our proteins. Okay, so just think about that, right? So a protein is a big long chain of amino acids that are linked together. So like I said, some amino acids, right, do different things. They're slightly different from one another. For what I want to talk about today, I want you to imagine that some of those amino acids like to hang out in water, and other amino acids would rather hang out in oil. This is a big deal for our proteins because it changes what they look like, the shapes they take, and all of that. You know that when a train goes on a track, it's all in a straight line for the most part. Okay? But proteins don't do that. They don't have a straight track to go on. Proteins get thrown into water. Our cells, most of us, right? Most of us is made of water. What we are is made of water. So proteins get thrown into water most often. And so the protein wiggles around. It does some weird yoga contortionism, and it changes its shape. And it changes its shape for the most part so that the amino acids that like to be in water are facing outside and interacting with the water. And the amino acids that would rather be hanging out in oil kind of point towards the inside and interact with one another. And so because of this, and this is really a simplification, but because of this, the proteins themselves can take on some really beautiful shapes. And I love looking at the shapes of proteins. And here's just a couple that are found in eggs that we're going to talk about on the rest of this video: ovalbumin, ovotransferrin, and lysozyme. This protein shape is really important because it gives the protein some stability as it's floating around in the eggs or in our cells or wherever it is doing whatever that protein does. But it's not completely stable. We can start adding heat, and that heat will eventually change the protein, and it changes that shape. So as we increase the heat, say from 100 degrees to 110, 120, 130, 140, 150. Oh, this thing is getting heated up. And eventually you get warm enough that the protein unravels. It changes shape. It loses its shape. Just like what has happened here. This protein has lost its shape. It got too hot, and that shape that the protein once had went away. And it turns out that different proteins will unfold at different temperatures. They will lose their shape at different temperatures. And so here are those three proteins that I talked about earlier: ovalbumin, ovotransferrin, and lysozyme. At 120, they're all pretty happy. You move up to 130, and ovotransferrin gets pretty nervous. Up to 140, up. There goes ovotransferrin. Bring the heat up a little bit more to 150. Now lysozyme is getting nervous. 160, lysozyme is really nervous. 170, there goes lysozyme. Finally, you bring it all the way up to 180, and now we've lost ovalbumin. Ovalbumin has changed its shape. And so as we keep heating these up, they will unravel. But it's important to note that they all unravel at different temperatures. That's going to be really important for how we cook eggs. Now, why do our eggs firm up and set into a solid? Well, if we look at our unfolded proteins, we see these patches. Some of those patches are hydrophilic. They like to interact with water, and some of them are hydrophobic, meaning they'd rather interact with oil or other hydrophobic things. And so as we keep heating these, our unraveled proteins start to interact with one another. They start to form layers. They start to set up. They start to interact with one another. And the more they interact with one another, the more firm the eggs will get. In this picture that I've taken from a blog called Chymos, which was written by another chemist, whose name is Martin Lersch, he looked at the effect of temperature on what happens to an egg. And so in this, he put eggs in a really precise temperature bath, right, and looked to see what happened as you change the temperature. And there's lots of things going on here. But you can see it's not so easy as you make it one temperature and the whole egg cooks. So there are certain controls in these proteins that will, in the end, tell you if you get a soft egg or a firm egg, a soft yolk or a firm yolk. In fact, there are tons of recipes online for making a perfect boiled egg, a perfect soft boiled egg with a set white but a soft yolk. This is tricky because the yolk proteins set at a lower temperature than the whites do. So I want you to go out online and look up some of these recipes for a perfect soft-boiled egg and try to make them yourselves. Let's think again about what goes on in our egg as we're cooking it with ovalbumin and ovotransferrin and lysozyme as we increase the temperature, thinking both about unfolding and unraveling and aggregation, those unraveled proteins starting to interact. So at 120, all of the proteins are fine, but we bring up that temperature to above 170 and both ovotransferrin and lysozyme will unfold. And once they unfold, they start to aggregate. The more aggregation there is, the more firm our eggs are going to be. And so if we just unfold ovotransferrin and lysozyme, we still have some folded ovalbumin there. And so our eggs are not going to be quite as firm. Okay, the more a protein unfolds, the firmer your eggs are going to be. If we keep the temperature low enough, we can prevent some proteins from unfolding. If we keep those proteins from unfolding, they will not aggregate. If we keep the temperature low enough, we can make sure that our eggs set but stay soft. If we increase that temperature too much, though, all of our proteins unfold and they all aggregate. And once they all aggregate, then we get a really firm egg. Now, will this knowledge make you a better cook of eggs? Maybe, maybe not. But this is useful information, and it's really useful information. I want you to look at a couple of the dishes I have here on the left. You see scrambled eggs and ice cream and creme brulee. All of these require some sort of making of a custard. And in making these, there are certain temperatures that you want to reach, right? For scrambled eggs or ice cream, we want our custards to stay just around 170. For creme brulee, we're going to bring that temperature up a little bit to 176. But you'll notice that for all of these, we keep our temperature below 180 degrees. We do not want to unfold our ovalbumin, and that is really important here. And so what I really want to stress is that by controlling temperature, by following and controlling the temperature of what you cook, you have tons of control over the texture of the dish that you make. And so for something like a fried egg, it might not be as important because it's hard to measure temperature of your fried egg as you're going. But for something like creme brulee, something like scrambled eggs even, or something like ice cream, monitoring the temperature is a really good way to find out when you're finished cooking or when you should stop cooking. So let's watch our eggs cooking again. As we see these changes, as it goes from a liquid to a solid, as it turns from clear to white, those proteins are unfolding and aggregating. And we're watching that in real time. It's one of the things I love about cooking, is that we can watch teeny tiny chemicals change, right? Things that are so small changing their shape and all of these wonderful transformations happening. We can see the effects of that with our own eyes, and it's just a wonderful thing to do. So here is our egg proteins unfolding, aggregating, turning from a liquid to a solid, and this is what makes our food so wonderful, right? This whole process of protein unfolding and aggregation is something that's going to show up in a lot of our cooking, all of our protein-heavy foods, whether it is meat or eggs or even bread. We think a lot about changes in protein shape and how those changes result in things that affect texture, right? So the texture of our eggs here. And so here we're going to see how we did, right? Again, I encourage you to go out and look for recipes for perfect soft-boiled egg. How do you keep your egg yolk liquid and your white solid when the egg yolk sets at a lower temperature? We can do that in the pan because the egg yolk is kind of insulated from the heat of the pan, but it's a lot of fun. I want to thank you again for listening in. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. And thanks again to my kids for helping out.